Hospitality is not just something we do when guests come to visit, it can also be a career path. But what skill sets are needed for careers in this industry and what jobs are actually available? Today we visit the County College of Morris to see their Hospitality Management and Culinary Arts program and to learn what today's students are doing to prepare for success in the industry. I'm here with Mark Cosgrove, who's the chair of the Hospitality Management and Culinary Arts Department at the County College of Morris. Let's talk about the industry as a whole. Do you find that there's a growing interest in top chefs or in the hospitality industry overall?
There's a great interest in top chefs. It's a little inaccurate in the fact that no one's going to jump into a position as a top chef. But now you can't turn on the TV without seeing somebody cooking or something happening in the food world. And the same is very true of hospitality. It was originally, oh, you worked in a hotel, oh, that's nice. But now the glamour of the industry has become much more prevalent, as you see travel shows and Anthony Bourdain traveling around doing all the things that he does and everything else. So it's really been great for our entire industry.
All these impossible shows, Restaurant Impossible, Hotel Impossible.
Yeah, they've taken very simple concepts and shown exactly how involved they are.
Do you find that that's good for your students, or does it give them a misrepresentation of the industry?
It's a mix of that. There's a misrepresentation when they first come to us for a cooking class because they've watched Top Chef and they've watched Chopped or they've watched a couple of other shows and they figure, oh, this is easy, I can do this. And then the first time we hand them a recipe and say, no, we want you to do this, they kind of struggle with it a little bit, but then that's part of why we do the courses the way we do.
Tell me about the courses that you offer here as part of the hospitality department.
We have a pretty comprehensive list of courses. They run from culinary arts, basic, introduction to food production. We end up with some more advanced ones such as food as art, where the students design their own wedding cake. But then we also have a very strong managerial program that includes elements of the National Restaurant Association Manage First program. So everything from food management to human resources, purchasing, serve safe, marketing.
Kevin Hooper was working as an attorney, but decided to give it up and start an entirely different career path by getting a degree in the culinary arts.
I started a year ago in 2014 at the Grand Cafe in Morristown, New Jersey. I explained to the owner that I really had no professional experience in the kitchen, but he decided to take a chance on me, and I started there in January, and I learned a lot since then. I've really been enjoying it.
What skills do you think are the most important to succeed in this industry?
Definitely time management, just staying focused, because if you lose focus in the kitchen, a lot of bad things can happen. People can get hurt. Food safety is an issue. Being aware of how long food is out, keeping food refrigerated, making sure you're cooking food to the right temperatures. So you really have to work on your multitasking skills.
Do you find that you've been able to apply the skills you learned in the classroom to your work life?
Oh, definitely. There are a lot of classes I've taken here that developed my, basic skills that everyone needs to have a firm grasp on. Classic French technique. It's important to have that background, knife skills, just really having hands-on practice in this practice kitchen where, it's a little safer, there's not so much stress. It really helps me to get comfortable with the equipment and really what I'm doing every day at the restaurant.
Practice kitchens and dining rooms give students the hands-on experience to better understand the demands of the career before entering the workforce.
This is our dining room, which also doubles as the classroom. It's probably the most important thing about any of this experience. For cooking, it's indispensable, obviously. You can't learn to cook by watching someone do it. But also at the same time, customer service, serving the tables. We can tell them lots of stuff, but until they actually serve somebody sitting at a table, they really don't know what it's like.
The program also includes hotel management, which Bhavashree Naidoo has wanted to do since she was a young girl living in South Africa.
In South Africa, it's not a very advisable position to work in, but I decided that I still wanted to do hospitality management, so I relocated to the US, where there's more broader spectrum within that field.
More opportunity.
More opportunities, yes.
Now you manage a team of people.
Yes, I do.
What skill sets do you look for in your team members?
You need to be very patient and understanding you are dealing with people. It's a customer relation field. You're always dealing with guests. You cannot be short-tempered. And if you're working in the housekeeping department, being attention to detail, having a personality where you want everything to be done in a certain way, being neat, tidy. If you are a neat and tidy person, obviously your rooms will reflect the exact same thing. They need to be diligent, they need to be able to follow policies and procedures, because when cleaning a room, we have a set procedure that is conducted, because if they're not, that means the room is not getting cleaned correctly. I have a standard that I expect of them, and I need to have a team that's willing to meet those standards, that's willing to go above and beyond, not just go in and do what's expected of them.
I'm here with Tony Perry, who's a professor at the County College of Morris. Why is it important that your students have practical, hands-on experience before they enter the workforce?
Well, with every industry, I think that's important. It's not just textbook. We really believe in a real-world education and giving them the experiences through co-ops and other opportunities to really jump in the pool and swim.
Now, tell me about the 4-week course that you teach in your human resources class.
It is called the Hotel Operation Training Simulation Program. And what it does is it takes the students that are in our HR class, our human resource class, and it puts them as a human resource manager in a simulation hotel. And they actually have to do all the staffing. They have to manage the budget on a minimal level, but they're really staffing the restaurant area and the housekeeping area. And they also have to respond to social media responses from fake guests that are either complimenting or complaining about what's going on in their hotel. So we make it very competitive. They each have their own hotel.
Who are they competing against?
Each other. So it's a town where they all have their own hotel, and they're all competing for guests. They're competing for guests to stay there.
You talk about the social media piece. Is that a new element that students today have to deal with that in the past didn't?
Well, I think in my generation, when you had comments, typically the comments would be filled out on a little 3x5 card. But as you know, in the industry that we're in today, with social media, with Twitter, with Facebook, TripAdvisor, it's something that's mandatory.
And bad news spreads quickly.
Yes, it does, and it can either make or break a career as well as a hotel or a restaurant. So we're also educating them and showing them how they need to respond in the hospitality industry to compliments and concerns, as we put it.
Many of your students go into hotels and shadow.
Yes.
Explain what that process is and why that's important.
What they need to do is go off-site, contact a hotel and say, we would like to shadow your housekeeping manager for a day and find out what it's really like in her shoes or his shoes. What we want them to understand is the information that they're being presented with is what they're really going to experience when they get out here. So they come back and they're like, oh my goodness, we learned all these terms. So they come back really pumped that, oh my goodness, they're getting encouraged and very self-confident. And what I found is a lot of them were able to identify what they wanted to do in the industry or what they didn't want to do in the industry. So it's actually guided them to say, oh my goodness, I never even thought about that job and I love it. Or, oh my goodness, I heard about what the other students were talking about and that really is a good fit for me. So it fine-tunes and it refines and it polishes.
Life and Living has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence, and NJTV. Funding for this edition of Life and Living with Joanna Gagis has been provided by PSE&G, JFK Medical Center, MagnaCare, Johnson & Johnson, New Jersey Sharing Network, Cone Resnick, and by the Russell Berry Foundation. Promotional support provided by NJ.com, Small News, Big News, True Jersey, and by Commerce Magazine. Life and Living with Joanna Gagis has been produced in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System.